Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Man, Friday was a good night of college football again. There was some shockers too, a few shockers really. Some shockers. One big shocker that I've noticed this Friday. Me talking about, but this episode we gonna talk about Friday. Talk about how the games went and stuff like that. A few of them, and then also talk about a few games Saturday coming on. Some of the games I'll list off a little bit. Things of that nature. But before we get into that, again, welcome back to the channel. Uh, IDA King's Video Production Channel. Let's get started, man. I hope y'all like the channel so far. I hope y'all enjoy it. The first game, it ended up being a real big blowout. It was like 73-0, Indiana. Blew out Indiana State. I believe Fernando Mendoza killed it. He was 19 for 20, 270 yards and stuff like that, 5 touchdowns. The backup came in. Albert Alberto Mendoza, same last name. He was 6 for 9, only threw 9 times, had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he cooked too a little bit, you know. Oh man, that was a crazy game. Omar Cooper Jr. He cooked today too. He had over 200 yards in the game, 4 touchdowns, 10 receptions. Yeah, and then Martin, the running back, he had 11 carries, 109 yards. He had 2 touchdowns as well. And so yeah, they destroyed them. The defense was locking down. You know, they don't really play down to their competition, so that wasn't really shocking to me at all. That was just a big whooping. Um, you know, Indiana is going to be playing up to their competition. They're going to be competitive and do their thing. So, you know, that's how it has been the last few years, man. So, the last year or so. So it's gonna, they got them coached up well out there, man. Another game, I thought it would be closer. It was shocking how the spread was on that game. It was Colorado versus Houston. Ryan Staub ended up starting. He was the third string quarterback to start the year, and he ended up becoming the starter. He had a little bit of a struggle. He was like 19 for 35, over 200 yards, a touchdown, and like 2 interceptions. He had like 11 carries for over 30 yards. He had some good runs in there, but it was a little tough overall. The run game, I think Simeon Price had like 5 carries for like 51 yards. He also had a touchdown. And Amarion Miller, he had a few receptions for 54 yards and stuff like that. But they were struggling against Houston, man. Connor Wigman, he was at Texas A&M dealing with injuries throughout his career. And he's finally more healthy now. And he played well today too. He played well that Friday, over 220 yards, 15 for 24. He was doing his thing. So he did a real good job. He also had had some carries. He had around 17 carries for over 80 yards, 83 yards or so. And he had 2 touchdowns rushing. They dominated the run game, man. They dominated that run game, right? Because even Dean Connors had 89 yards on 22 carries, man. They ran the ball a lot. They got a lot of yards in the run game. They dominated the run game like Georgia Tech did to Colorado a few weeks ago. And then Stephon Johnson, he had over 107. He had over 100 yards at 117, and then he only had 5 receptions. He balled out too. So it was a heck of a game. I was shocked by how that game went. But Houston's better, man. They 3-0. They look way better than they did. Throughout the years, the last few years, they've getting better and better. The first year they looked, solid, building that foundation, and then this year they look like they could take the next step. So, be careful. Watch out for Houston, man. That Big 12. That's going to be a situation right there. Another team to watch out for in the Big 12 is Arizona. Arizona 3-0 now. They ended up beating Kansas State 23-17. Okay, they was cooking, man. That defense was on fire. I mean, they put Johnson in Avery Johnson in a bad situation. They put him in a bad situation. He was 13 for like 29, right? And like 88 yards. It was crazy. He didn't even get 100 yards in the game, right? And then Brown had 6 receptions, 68 yards. And then he had one carry for 75 yards. He was really a lot of the offense, man. A lot of offense was through him. A lot of the offense was through him. Noah Fafita, last year he had a rough year a little bit. The year before, as a freshman, he was a beast, right? But he's starting to get it going, right? He's starting to run the ball a little more. His completion percentage was a little up and down. He took a lot of chances downfield though, so that's part of it. But the short passes he was accurate and stuff like that. Medium passes he was accurate. He had over 170 yards. He had 15 carries, 48 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He got 2 touchdowns, big touchdowns. Ismail, hopefully I said his name right. Mandy, Mahada, had 12 carries, man. He cooked, man. 12 carries for 189 yards. Amazing, man. Amazing. Great game. Great game from him too. That you gotta watch out for Arizona. Their defense is really solid. And I feel like the quarterback and running back can carry that team in the Big 12 a little bit. They're gonna have some special moments in this season and stuff like that. So they're gonna be in a solid position too. Gotta be careful with Arizona. That's a good team. Kansas State is in real trouble. They're 1-3, right? And I don't know if this counted as a conference game. They both in the Big 12. But it's a tough. It's gonna be a tough year, man. They gotta fix some things. They gotta fix some things quick. The first 3 games, they were in some close games. This one too. Their 4th game, this one was close too. They having a hard time pulling away. They're having a hard time. It was, I believe, North Dakota State that they ended up only winning by 3, and they really should have lost that game. To be honest with you, they really got lucky. One of the North Dakota schools, tough schools to play in the FCS anyway, right? So both of them, North Dakota and North Dakota State, both tough teams. So they got to be better. They got to be better, man. They got to figure a way to pull away, figure a way to win these close games. If they want any chance in that Big 12, right? They got to find a way to do better in that regard. Colorado as well. They got to find a way to really stop. They got to find a way to stop the run. Colorado, dude. They got to find a way to stop the run, and find a way to consistently stop the run. And really, most of it is coming with outside runs and stuff. Beating the edge, they got to find a way to shore that edge up. They got to be better on that edge when it comes to the run game. One game that was really, really shocking too, just the outcome itself and the spread, really. University of New Mexico, they dominated UCLA, right? Defensively, offensively, they did a lot of great stuff, man. Jack Lane was special, right? He was really, really good. He only had legit 4 incompletions. He was 12 for 16. He had 152 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. He was really dissecting that defense. And I believe there were 2 players, 2 running backs really, that were good in the receiving category, good at catching the ball, and good with running the ball as well. Starting off with I think Bankston, I think his last name. Damian Bankston, man, he had 15 carries for 154 yards and a touchdown. Okay. That's flat out unbelievable. Then he had 3 receptions, 44 yards for another touchdown. Just flat out unbelievable. He was cooking them. He was dominating them. DJ McKinney had 21 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown, along with 1 good reception for a 20-yard gain. Just flat out, they were most of the offense, but they dominated in the run and in the pass game against UCLA, right? Nico, he came from Tennessee. It was, I think, an NIL dispute, a lot of issues there. And then he decided to transfer to UCLA. The first game against Utah, which Utah to me is going to be back anyway. I think they're a real good team. Go talk about they're undefeated. Talk about the game they play the Saturday right here. Talk about them. I believe they play later on tonight as well. So that was a great team, and defensively they were real good. He struggled a little bit first game playing UCLA. The other 2, he was solid to me. He didn't have bad games. He played against UNLV, another tough team that's going to be a good team in the Mountain West, real good team. And then they just played New Mexico. He wasn't bad, right? He was 22 for 34, 217 yards, a touchdown. He did throw a pick. But overall, I think the offense is just not the greatest. Anthony Woods had 10 carries, 64 yards, 5 receptions, 28 yards, right? And then their receivers weren't the greatest either. 3 receptions, 67 yards for Mickey. And then another guy, Gilmer, had 5 receptions for 56 yards. But overall, the offense wasn't getting going. But that really, New Mexico was really just cooking. Like they had a great game. And I was shocked. And now UCLA is 0-3. They're in the Big Ten. I don't know what win they're gonna get. I really don't know. They could get a win of somewhere, but they're gonna have a hard time in that Big Ten. They're gonna struggle. I don't even know if they'll be bowl eligible. So they got to get that fixed. They got to be better. And hopefully they do turn that around as soon as possible. A few games coming on tonight. Right? I know they're talking about it. They showed a lot in the commercials. Oregon versus Northwestern. Northwestern, you never know. They could be sneaky. They're at home too. Oregon got to be careful, right? You don't want it to be a trap game in there. But, I believe his name Dante Moore, man. He redshirted last year, coming into Oregon, Eugene. He played his freshman year at a different school. Then he redshirted his sophomore year. And he's been balling this year. Flat out cooking. I believe he's completing like 77, 78% of his passes. Just unbelievable making throws. Now, the teams they played were a little easier. This could be an easier game. Maybe, you never know. You got to be careful, though. You're on the road in Northwestern. Historically, they've had some really, really solid situations, So you got to be careful with they sneaky. You got to be careful with them. That's a sneaky situation. Another game, you already know, Clemson versus Georgia Tech. I forgot this game really was about to come on. This was crazy, right? And I'm like, dang it. Clemson could get another loss coming in there. They could lose because Georgia Tech's 2-0. They're a really good team. They run the ball. They really be smash mouth, ground and pound. Haynes King's a great quarterback throwing and running the ball. So Clemson, man, they got to be prepared and got to be ready. Cade Klubnik got to come out swinging, come out Heisman, an NFL-type player at that quarterback position, man. If they don't, Georgia Tech's going to beat them. If Georgia Tech can run down their throat, run the ball down there, okay? They could kill them, right? So you got to be careful. You got to be ready to go. If Clemson not ready to stop that run and they don't stop that run, they're going to be in trouble. I'm telling you right now. The clock's going to be shortened, and they're going to get a lot of yards. They won't barely see the ball. They got to get stops. They got to get stops early on down. So, but watch out for that game, Georgia Tech, man. Oklahoma and Temple, they're both 2-0. You never know. Oklahoma got to be careful. They had a great big win against Michigan. Be careful of Temple. That could be a trap game right there, and they 2-0. And Oklahoma is going at their home arena with Temple. So, got to be careful of that. That's a tough game, too. Wisconsin versus Alabama, another one, right? Alabama's 1-1. Wisconsin's 2-0. I think their starting quarterback, if I'm not saying his last name, I believe Edwards Jr., is out. Okay? He's out, I believe, in this game. They're going to have their backup coming in. But you got to be careful. Wisconsin's a sneaky team, too, in that Big Ten. They're a sneaky team. They're undefeated, right? You got to be careful. Alabama got to be careful, man. This is another big test like the week 1. So we're going to see where they at, see if they really gotten better a little bit. Townsend and Maryland, they're both 2-0. They both have great freshmen. One's a redshirt at Townsend. The other one, Maryland, is a true freshman. They've both been really good this year so far. That could be a good quarterback duel. Maryland got to be careful. I know they're like 96% favorite to win that game. Got to be careful with that, too. You're at home. Try to take care of business. But, hey, I think the quarterback positions, though, at those two schools, that could be a fun game, too. I believe that's going to be on Peacock. So if you have Peacock, which I do, that's going to be a good game. Go ahead, watch that for sure. You have Georgia versus Tennessee. That game is going to be fantastic. Georgia versus Tennessee. That's going to be a fun game. Okay. Georgia versus Tennessee. It's going to be a fun football game. Okay. It's going to be a fun football game. Can't wait to see how that goes. Can't wait to see, that's going to be a fun game, right? I'm telling you right now, that's going to be great. That's going to be a great game on ABC. And then USC and Purdue, they're both undefeated. They both look better. They both look way better than what they did last year. So, pretty excited to see that one, too. See how that goes. A rivalry game coming up, Pittsburgh versus West Virginia. That's a rivalry game. That's been a rivalry game forever, man. It's going to be a fun game. They really don't like each other. They hate each other, right? That's going to be fun. Pittsburgh's 2-0. West Virginia's 1-1. They lost to the University of Ohio at the University of Ohio. So they're trying to get back at home and try to beat their rival. Man, that's going to be a fun time, okay? All right. This game I'm really looking forward to. This next game I've been looking forward to. I'm not even going to lie. I've been looking forward to it all week. And that is number 18 South Florida, who's undefeated, versus number 5 Miami. Okay. Carson Beck's back. Carson Beck is doing his thing again, balling. Okay. And USF defensively is flat out amazing. They're flat out amazing. They're great. They give up less than 12 points a game in the first few weeks. That's amazing stuff. That the offense has been solid, not turning the ball over, making good decisions. That game, Miami got to be careful. Now, Miami got a run game. And, so South Florida got to be careful. They got to be in their run integrity. They got to have run integrity, gap integrity, things of that nature. So, but hey, Miami got to be careful, man. This is going to be a fun one. They got to be careful. They could get that dub. That's going to be, if South Florida gets this win right here, not only are they going to be like a top 10 team, they're going to be in conversations to be a sneaky playoff team, maybe winning a national championship. So this game is big for both teams. You got to be careful this game, because Miami got a few tough games down the road too. I believe they play Clemson. I'm wondering, they might play Georgia Tech too. There's a few games that's on that schedule that's going to be tough. So this game, trying to win this game against a ranked team will go a long way in building confidence and getting ready for ACC play, because that schedule is not going to be easy for them. All right, Arkansas and Ole Miss, both undefeated. Ole Miss is ranked 17. They had a tough game against Kentucky. Kentucky's been giving them problems. They end up winning that game. Arkansas is a tough team, man. You got to be careful of them, too. They're a real tough football team. They're really solid. They're really fundamentally sound. Got to be careful. And that's a good team, too. These two teams are going to be playing each other. That's going to be another great matchup. Another great matchup down there. Florida, they had a tough loss against USF. A team I just talked about who can mess around and probably make the playoff, and two, be sneaky, a good playoff team, maybe mess around and win national championship if the cards are right for them. But Florida struggled. They gave up opportunities in that game, in my opinion. Now they got to go in Death Valley. Okay, Death Valley, the nasty place, man, down in LSU. Oh, my goodness. That's going to be a tough one. You got to be careful of that game as well. That one is going to be tough. Okay, LSU is going to be a tough matchup. That's a tough one, okay? But they will compete. Now, I don't know if they have enough to beat LSU, but Florida will be competing that game. That's going to be a fun game tonight. Great game. Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame most likely might have to win this game if they want to make the playoff, because after this game, the schedule is going to be easier for them. Now, there could be some ranked teams here or there. I got to see how the other teams are playing, but overall, if this is a big if they lose this game and go out and start 0-2, it could be tough for Notre Dame down the road, for real. But I think they could win this game against Texas A&M. They have a good chance, though. They have a good chance. Texas A&M is a great team, though. They're a great football team. Reed, he was a freshman last year. He came in against LSU and had a historically amazing game. They caught back up against LSU, and he's been on fire. He played some games last year and was on fire, and he's been playing a lot of great games, including the first few this year, looking like a Heisman candidate. So that Texas A&M team is not no one to sleep on. Notre Dame did beat them last year down at their stadium, Texas A&M Stadium. So now they're at home. So Notre Dame got to be careful. Texas A&M trying to get that revenge. You got to be careful with them. Right. Vandy and South Carolina. This could be a sneaky good game, too. South Carolina got Sanders, baller. Okay. So they got a great quarterback down there. Great quarterback down there at South Carolina. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks that come out, whether this year or next year. He's going to be a fantastic quarterback at South Carolina. And then Vandy's a really good team too. Last year, they had a great year. They had some key upsets. One was against Alabama. They almost upset at Texas. They had some really good games and competitive games. So you got to be careful. South Carolina got to be careful. They're ranked 11. Utah and Wyoming, they're both 2-0. And Wyoming is surprisingly solid so far. They got to play Utah at home. They got to play Utah at their home field at Wyoming. Utah got to be careful. They had some good wins so far. Their quarterback, Dan Pierre, is great. He's a great quarterback transfer. I think he transferred from, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. But he's been great coming in. They got to be careful, though. Got to be careful. But I think that game could be sneaky good. That could be sneaky. You got to watch out. That could be a good night game. Sneaky a little bit. Sneaky. Miami could give them a little run for their money for a little bit. Duke versus Tulane. Mensah going to be playing Tulane. He was at Tulane as a redshirt freshman. He transferred, went to Duke. I heard for big money. Understandable for sure. But Tulane's a real good team. They're 2-0. They've been really solid, getting W's. I think they beat Northwestern. I think week 1 at home. Real good. Real good. Okay, really good stuff. Really good stuff. So I think, that game could be sneaky good too. That game could be sneaky good. And then the final game that I seen, I'm like, oh, this could be really, really, this could be interesting at 10:30 p.m. late night. You can try to stay up as much as y'all can. Minnesota versus California, right? Both freshmen. One's a redshirt freshman. The other one's a true freshman. They've been really good. They've been playing real well. California's quarterback, when I seen him in the first game, man, he was special, man. He played remarkably well, throwing the ball all over the place, he had 3 touchdowns, just was cooking. He was on fire. That is a great player. He will be a great quarterback for years to come. That's going to be a fun situation. Man, I'm telling y'all, though, today, Saturday, is going to be a fun Saturday, okay? We're going to have fun. We're going to have a good time again. All right, then, you already know tomorrow, NFL, right? Tomorrow, NFL, we're going to recap the games, recap college football, and then, talk about some NFL, man. Gonna be fun. Gonna be fun. Some NFL games coming on. Some great time, great stuff. Man, I hope y'all enjoy today. I hope y'all enjoy this lovely Saturday. And y'all better make sure y'all get to watch some football, okay? Man, have a good one. Have a good one.